Hello, hello. Welcome back. This is very exciting for us at TED to have so many amazing people right here in this theater. Thank you all for being part of this. Thank you, Skoll. This is very, very, very cool. Now then, if you were to try and make a list of people who've really shaped and changed the modern world, really made a difference in the world, you could definitely argue that our next speaker should be right at the top of that list. He not only pioneered the idea of microlending, proved that it could work in a spectacular way, saw it scale, and then broadened that idea to the idea of social business. Along the way, won a Nobel Peace Prize, why not, as one does. And now he's coming out with this book, A World of Three Zeros. Just a terrific honor to welcome to this TED stage, for us all, Professor Muhammad Yunus.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm delighted to be here. I'm the guy who does the little things, and that's how I became micro. Now, looking back, probably we would have started in nano. It'll be much more expressive what we do. I didn't realize that what I'll get into when I began. All I was trying to do, get the loan sharks out in the village by me lending the money. So I said, this is a solution. Why write books about it? The solution is if people are left out and they are victims of loan sharks, I can solve this problem for this village by lending my own money. So I started doing that, and that is the beginning of what is now known as microcredit. In the process, I had to create a separate bank because the banks would not do that. That's my first confrontation with the financial system. And it didn't stop. It has not stopped yet. So that controversy I created. So I do the small things, and I thought I'm not disturbing anybody, but ended up with confrontations. I ended up raising big questions. Now, the big questions I've been raising, that the financial system is wrong. It leaves out all the people who needs financial services. It's a bank which is designed to serve the people who already have lots of money. And I thought it was a very funny thing, because the banks which are designed to lend money to people should be lending money to people who don't have money, instead of lending money to people who already have lots of money. So that is still not resolved. This is a question, and it created a lot of other issues on the side. And every time I see that, I try to react in my own way and try to solve that little problem that I see in front of me and raise another big issue for that. When I started and a bank is created and lending money, we saw a lot of other problems for the poor people. So I created some solutions for that. When you are with the people, face to face every day, you see the problems in not a very threatening way. You say it's something you can do. It's nothing is beyond your capacity, because it's a one-to-one human contact. So I always try to jump in to see something I can do. And every time the nature that the system that developed with me, every time I see a problem, I create a business to solve it. So I keep on creating business to solve each of these problems: healthcare problem, housing problem, sanitation problem, education problem, you name it. I have a company to make it happen, to solve that problem. And then led to another type of controversy. Why do you create companies where you are not making money yourself? Because this is one clear picture that I don't make any money out of these companies that I create. So I had to answer that question. Why do I do that? I said, I'm creating a business. The first question that whether it's a business at all, because if you're not making money, could it be called business? I said, what's wrong with calling it a business? Business is something that deals with the people buying and selling production or produce and services and so on. So I'm doing that. Simply, I'm not taking the profit for myself, that's all. And I asked the question, is there a law in the country that if you don't take profit out of your business, then you will be punished for that. I said, there is no such law. So I don't take the profit out of the business. It's plowed back into the business. So that controversy led me to give it a name. As I said, this is a different kind of business. You're confused because you know only one type of business to make money. I'm creating another type of business to solve problems. Can there be business to solve problems? I said, here it is. You name any business, any problem, one can always come up with the creative idea how to solve it by creating a business. And then that also leads to more questions. So I tried to explain. I said, well, all the time we are trying to solve problem by giving charity. That's what we do. We need healthcare. We have a free healthcare clinic. We need education. We start a school, free school, so that kids can come and learn. This is what we always do. You need housing. We give you free housing because people don't have homes. Either private individuals do it, NGOs do it, government does it, something based on charity. So what I'm trying to do is transform that charity into a business format so that the money comes back. I said in charity, which is a wonderful idea, but one limitation, money goes out, does a wonderful work, but money doesn't come back. So you have only one-time use of your money. So what I'm trying to do so that I can bring the money back, and that's what I'm calling social business. Then if you put the money, social business money to solve the problem, then money goes out, solves the problem, and comes back. Then use it again. Use it again. It's unlimited use. So I said, charity money has one life, but social business money has endless life. So you have more powerful money in your hand to keep on solving problem, and you create institutions. And that social business idea gradually grew. We created many companies, some of them nationwide companies, solving one problem or the other problem, including solar energy, renewable energy, create a company to bring solar energy in the villages in a business way so that they can pay back and the cost comes recovered and you keep on expanding. That's the power of business. You can expand. You can grow as big as you want. Not in charity. You're always dependent, always waiting to see if you can run the program next year because some donor has to give you the money that you spent last year. So that excited me, and I started talking about social business. Big businesses became interested in our work. They wanted to do social business. So we have joint ventures with big companies to create social business, one after another. First one we did with Danone, which is a French company, who created a special kind of yogurt through this social business company. Danone decided they will not take any money out of this business, a social business. And of course, we will not take any profit out of this business. All the profit will be plowed back. But this yogurt is a fortified yogurt. All the micronutrients which are missing in the children are put in this yogurt. So it became very powerful yogurt. Made it very cheap so that poor children can afford it, their parents can afford it. So now it's a very popular yogurt. People buy it in the villages, so we want to sell it in the villages. To make it easy for people to buy it, to make it cheap, what we do, we kind of make it two kinds of markets. Urban market to the supermarket. We have regular yogurt price, fancy packaging, same yogurt, but the regular market price, which is high, and we make money. We take that money and cross-subsidize in the villages, almost half the price, less than cost of production, so that people in the village can afford it, poor people can afford it. So within the company, we cover all the cost. So that's what the whole idea is. The company has to cover the cost, make a surplus, which is plowed back. So we have now many such social business ideas, social business thing. Then I raise a question. Again, see, one thing leads to the questioning, to another kind of questioning. Why businesses have to make money? Why did we decide to put in our theory that profit maximization is the goal of business? That's how we created all the problems. Our mind got stuck with making money. We can look at the world with our eyes with the dollar signs. we always look where big dollars are coming. And we don't see other things. And in the process, lots of these problems keep growing. We don't want to pay attention because we are busy making money. That's how we express ourselves by saying, business is business. We can't consider all those things because our mind is focused, and that's how we have been told. The theory made a very strong fundamental error by interpreting human being as a moneymaker by saying human beings are driven by self-interest. That's the basis of the entire economic theory, that what we have today. It's human beings are driven by self-interest, which is basically saying it's a selfish interest. So we are narrowed down to selfish interest. We cannot look beyond. So this is what we do. I said, if we had interpreted human beings driven by self-interest and selfless interest, selfish interest and selfless. So selflessness is kind of thrown away from the business and economics. So I'm trying to see if we can accommodate selflessness into business. So I said there are two kinds of business if we address these two issues. One is a money-making business, another is selfless business, which we call social business. Then world becomes completely different. So I started doing that and see, unless we change the system, we cannot address all the problem that we see about the poverty and the environment and all the issues that we have. We got stuck. And the terrible thing which is happening, make me more shaken by that, extreme concentration of wealth. Because economic system has become a big machine which sucks up everything from the bottom and sends it to the top. Top is becoming huge. Bottom, meaning that almost 99% of the people, when we say bottom doesn't mean little thing, it's a whole thing. It becomes thinner and thinner. To make a statement like 1% of the total population of the world own 99% of the wealth of the entire world. So imagine what kind of wealth concentration we have. And it's getting worse every year. That is a ticking time bomb. Because if you don't fix it, something will happen in the bottom because they are the one left out from the system, no matter what you say. So this is what we have been arguing, that we have to see how to rearrange the thinking process, the system of structure of the system that we have, reinterpret ourselves as a human being, how we do that. And another thing happens as we go, as we are doing the microcredit. We see the young people within the families of microcredit, they are looking for jobs. We send them to school, college, and have good education. Now, always running for education, and they say, we have no jobs. We are unemployed. So I started telling them, why are you looking for jobs? I said, job is a very old-fashioned idea. It should have been ended long before, in the past century. Because human beings are not born for working for somebody else. Human beings are born to be entrepreneurs. That's the basic feature of human beings. And that's what we are. When we're in the caves, when we have the trouble to the whole history, we are not sending job application from one cave to another cave. Why are we doing now? Because we forgot. Something told us that you have to work for somebody else, otherwise you have no future. So we tell our children, we tell our students that get ready for jobs. So I said, no, you are an entrepreneur. It is the fault of the financial system, not your fault. It's the fault of your education system. Education system telling you that if you come to such and such college, you have best chance to get a job. No education system is telling you you have two options. Either you become a job seeker or you become a job creator. This is the way you become a job creator. This is the way you become a job seeker. They're not told that. They are told always that no, you have to have a job. So I said, let's go back to the original. We become entrepreneurs. And if you all become entrepreneurs, it's possible. If you all become entrepreneurs, then the question of unemployment doesn't exist. Because unemployment is, the word came from the employment, not from the entrepreneurship. If you're not looking for employment, how can you be unemployed? People say, no, people are not born to become entrepreneurs. Not everybody is entrepreneur. I said, who says so? Look at our work, microcredit. We lend money to poor women to do what? To send job application? No. She takes this money to start a business. If illiterate women in Bangladesh or anywhere in the world can take $30, $50 loan, can become entrepreneur, what's wrong with your education system? With all your education, you now are sending job applications. Something you missed in the whole process. So one thing missing is the financial system. Financial system will not allow an unemployed young person applying for getting an investment money from a financial institution. So let's build those financial institutions, which we have done in Bangladesh. We created social business venture capital. We tell any young person in Bangladesh, come with a business idea, we'll become your partner. We'll provide all the money, you do the work, and be successful and return our money. We are not sharing your profit. Profit belongs to you. You simply give us back the money that we spent on you, so that you can move on with your work. And now thousands and thousands of young people come with business ideas. Once the money is on the table, suddenly your mind starts working. And if all these corrections can be fixed, I'm not saying throw everything. I'm saying give options. That's what you're supposed to do, options. Option between the business, whether it's social business or money-making business. Options, whether I want to be a job seeker or a job creator. It's up to you, up to us, up to our individuals. And then we create a completely new kind of economic structure, which will not be concentrating all the wealth in the few hands, which is threatening the whole society, economy, everything. So that is the danger we have to have. So in the book that was shown here, The World of Three Zeros, that's what I argue. Then we focus on creating a world with zero poverty, zero unemployment, zero net carbon emission. It's possible only if you make those changes in the structure of our thinking. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.
Professor Yunus,
Thank you.
You're wrestling with really the most important questions of our time. I mean, everyone is trying to understand how we navigate through this world of growing inequality and do it the right way. So these are very radical ideas you're putting forward. So we're going to have a conversation for 10 minutes. I want to understand a few things better. First of all, just...
Can I have a glass of water?
Water is coming.
That's okay.
So you speak and say that everyone can be an entrepreneur.
Sure.
But as a point of clarification, in your world of social businesses, not everyone is an entrepreneur. Yeah, some people are working for visionary entrepreneurs who are running those businesses. Is the point you're making that far more people should think of themselves as entrepreneurs? Anyone could, but there will still be job creators and job seekers coming together?
You said some will be working, as they do now, but today they will be working with the idea that tomorrow I'll become an entrepreneur.
Okay.
It's a temporary situation that I have to deal with. But I'm getting ready to be an entrepreneur because I have the money, because the financial institution is waiting for money. The work that I do for the company, I know this business much better than the company does. But within the company, I cannot express it.
Everyone working for TED, you didn't hear that. It's blah, blah, blah.
You're not listening. If you listen, probably they'll say, "Aha, yeah, that's what I'll have another TED."
Okay, so I like that. So it's a faster velocity world where someone might be working for someone else one day and then moving on.
Next day, move on.
But to run these social businesses successfully, you need a great entrepreneur. You need a great leader, right?
No, I don't need a great entrepreneur. I need an entrepreneur.
You need an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to imagine that, so here's a person in their 20s who's planning their career. In path one, they can picture maybe building a business the traditional way, possibly becoming a millionaire one day. In path two, they can picture making a solid salary and also helping a lot of people. Is it core to your idea that we have to persuade thousands of people coming, into their 20s to rethink how they think of their future, and that people need to be ready to sacrifice that possibility of becoming millionaires?
Sure.
And
only thing I'm suggesting, in the school, in the home, they will be told that there are two options. I'm not saying that he should do this or he should do that. I said they should be oriented that I have this opportunity. I can have a money making. I can be a millionaire and billionaires. I want to. Or I can be a great person to solve the biggest problem in the world as a social business. This is my job. I can do that. I have the option. So I have to choose my option. This is one. Number two, I'm not saying either you are a social business person or you are a money-making person. I'm not saying that. You can do both. You have a business where you make money. You have a business where you solve the most difficult problem that you have in your neighborhood or in your country. Same person.
And so
you don't have to be two persons,
right.
one or the other. You can have both.
So a traditional economist might say that that's a beautiful idea, but actually the real talent is going to get sucked up into the big businesses. And so these social businesses are going to be competing. They're going to struggle to compete for talent because they won't be able to pay the same salaries as the profit-making business.
Depends. For example, I'm an accountant. I'm looking for a job. And one social business is looking for an accountant, one money-making business looking for an accountant. I applied for both. And I got job from the both. Now the decision is mine. Which way will go? They offer the same salary, same facility. I said, okay, maybe I should work for the social business. I get the same salary, but I have contributed something in the world, which because I worked for that company. Rather than make somebody rich, my work and my sweat make somebody else rich, why should I do that? I would rather use my talent, my creativity to solve the problem of fellow human beings.
Okay, so you're saying that
I'll opt for social business.
Other things being equal, actually the social businesses have an incredible
more
advantage in
more
recruitment.
attraction, that's what I'm saying. And one way I express by saying that between choosing whether attraction-wise, whether I'll choose as a person social business or money-making business, I said making money is a happiness. That's why it's attractive. Making money is a happiness. Making other people happy is a super happiness. So the question is, which happiness you want to look?
Well, you must have experienced a lot of that super
happiness.
happiness
I did.
because you've made literally millions of people. You've given them the means to escape from poverty. You felt that super happiness.
I feel very happy about that, and many other programs. Yeah.
Is part of what's needed in the world for this vision to come true that we need to change how we recognize people in the world? Like today, there's the Forbes list. There's like in so many people's mental mind, they assume that success is measured by money and so subtly and explicitly in so many ways. But all the psychology points to the fact that above a certain point, actually there's no more happiness associated with that. But people want recognition. Maybe we could figure out some way of recognizing the social business heroes better.
Absolutely. Because people will remember you. I mean, you could be a super, super rich. When you die, after a while, everybody will forget he did something for himself. Who cares? But you did something. You're not super rich. You never made money. But you touched lives of millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people. They will remember you that you did that for us. Before that, nobody cared for us. Right. But you did it, and the business still it grows. Still people are following that path, creating this business again and again in many countries. So you put your signature in this history that you did this. So so you have a choice now, whether you want to make a huge money and forgotten, no signatures on this planet, or you do little things but touch lots of people and be remembered.
No, that's beautiful. And I think many of us here in the room operate in different forms of social business and know that thrill of talking to someone who works with us and seeing how much that mission means to them.
Absolutely,
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But right now, out there, there's a lot of excitement. There's many people who've raised hundreds of millions of dollars for impact investing. And this takes several forms, but one form of it is definitely the belief that, look, there are many businesses out there that are for-profit businesses that are doing good in the world. That's the best way that you can do good, is to invest in those businesses. Don't worry about businesses that don't make profit. They can make a profit and still change the world. Do you have concerns about this impact investing?
It's a better version of the just profit-only version. This is a mixed version that, yes, profit plus some good things for people. So, I admire that. This is important. But I'm saying you have a better choice, another choice. The choice is you exclusively look for the social returns, not for the money return at all. Because when you have the money and the social in your eyes, in your glasses, you don't see both very clearly. Because you have the social, you have the dollar, both at the same time. But if you have two pair of glasses, one with the dollar, another with the social, You the dollar, you make dollars. Go ahead, you create a separate company, you make dollar, and you use the one with the social. You exclusively focus because your mind has to be very clear what you want. The moment you have the dollar sign in it, always you say, yeah, okay, some impact, but you cannot surrender your profit part. So wait. So you kind of restrict yourself. Be free.
Some people would say that without your mind, as the entrepreneur, your mind focused on the dollar sign, you're going to build a flabby business. It's not going to be robust. You're going to get lazy, and you won't compete effectively in the marketplace. Have you met entrepreneurs who absolutely have the clear-eyed vision that they're operating brilliant businesses, but purely in the service of the community?
That's what we do. That's what the whole community is growing up now. You'll see many, many examples of that. I would say when you do the social business, your mind has to be very, very clear, because you are not only creating a business to get the money back, at the same time solve the problem.
Right.
So your question is, can you make this yogurt cheaper than what you have done? I gave the one example of yogurt. Can you make it as cheap as you could do that? Can you make it still cheaper? This is challenging yourself, not because you want to make money by making it you want to solve the problem of malnutrition. That's a driving force which is driving you in creating that business, not to relax. Okay, I did the yogurt business, and now, okay, all that. Your passion is you want to solve the problem of malnutrition. And you want to do it fast, you want to do it in a very efficient way so that you reach the most unreached family, the child that cannot afford to pay the price and so on and so forth. So you want to design a new marketing system. You cannot do the marketing system that exists because that marketing system doesn't go to that person. So you have to bring all your creative power, which is not needed by the money making. This is a very standard thing you do. Your profit comes and you do that. But here is a completely creative area that you have to come up with a challenging task. So it's not a lazy situation. That's what I'm trying to make. Yeah.
When you look at what's happened in micro-lending since, over the last 30 years, there's been massive scaling up of it. Right. Some of this must make you deeply proud. But there have been some versions of microlending that I think have made you queasy and actually angry.
Absolutely.
What has gone wrong when it has gone wrong?
Yeah, they started making money. I created it as a social business, didn't make money. That was not the intention. Intention is to solve the problem of the loan sharks for the people. But some people say, I can make money. So they started doing money making. So they kind of disrupted the whole thing, deviated from their principles, and created that. So I said, you became a loan shark.
So they would say, some people would say, that the profits is what allows you to scale.
We did the scaling too. We were nationwide in Bangladesh. We have surplus money all the time.
So that's profit.
It's profit and also
recycled.
Deposits, not only profit. We're a bank.
Is it possible to create, or did someone create, perhaps you've already created this, like a set of clear guidelines that says, this is microlending, microcredit, done the right way in the service of the poor, but when you start to charge an interest rate above X, or when you start to have loan repayment policies that involve violence or whatever, here are the guardrails.
Yeah, we say that many times. So I'll quickly go over it. We say cost of fund plus 10%. If your interest rate is within this limit, you're in the green zone of microcredit. Cost of fund plus 10 to 15%, you are in the yellow zone. Cost of fund plus 15% and above, you are in the red zone. You are no longer a social business microcredit that you can call yourself.
So that's so powerful. So I wonder whether almost the same thing could be applied to impact funds, because the logic of what you're saying is that social impact funds can work. You can invest in companies that do good, but at some level, either they start to shift away from the poor to the middle class, or they start to gouge the poor in some way. Are there guardrails you can do as well for social impact? I put it this way: when we say impact investment or socially oriented investment, so you mix social and profit. That's the whole idea. When you mix, the question is, what is the ratio? 1% social, 99% profit? 50% social, 50% profit? Or the other way, 99% profit, 1% social. So that remains kind of hazy.
Within the business, you can always switch. It started with 99% social and 1% profit. We are very encouraged. Gradually, you came to 50-50. You started compromising. And then you're moving into 99% profit and 1% because you are still social. You say we are mixing it. So there is no guideline there. And you cannot monitor every day. Today, what is your mixture? This is the danger part. And profit thing is so overwhelming around you, they're always pushing you into the profit side. I said, for your safety, why didn't you create two businesses?
Interesting.
One business, you do whatever your market tells you to do, your stock market tells you to do. Then you say, enough of this stock market. I do it for the social. This is 100% devoted to social. And that is safe. Because if you deviate anything, one departure, if you take 1 penny profit, then say, you are not a social business. Very clear.
So this is visionary. This speaks of a world that's coming soon where there won't be those jobs anyway, even if people wanted them.
Absolutely.
And so in a way, you're laying a manifesto.
Artificial intelligence will take it away. Your robots will take it away. So what I'm trying to say that you don't have to suffer through that. You are an entrepreneur. You will be telling those intelligence and all the stuff what to do. You are the boss. You are not the worker and working under artificial intelligence.
So we need to create the systems and somehow inspire this whole new generation coming through, that there is a new way to think about work and their purpose.
Inspire is a kind of higher word. I said, give them options. Very simple thing. Let young people think whether I should be a job seeker or I should be a job creator. That's a simple thing.
Well, I think
and at the same time, you create financial institution so that if I want to go into investment, I have financial institutions standing by. If in the schools, in colleges, now the recruiters come. Big company recruiters come, whether you join that. Now, they will be, investors will be coming, saying, if you are going to invest, please come with us. We give this facility and so on. No question asked. You'll get the money, and you'll get this kind of return. We'll make sure that you are successful, and those kind of things. So that has to flow in. Then I have to see whether I'll go for this recruiter, I'll go for this banker or the investor.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And Professor Yunus, I would not underestimate your own ability to truly inspire people. It's going to be very exciting to see this play out. Thank you for your extraordinary life.
Thank you.
For this book and for coming here today.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.